What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about some rumors coming out of the NFL Combine and how it has a massive impact on the New York Jets in the 2024 draft. So at the NFL Combine, both the Titans general manager and coach put a huge emphasis in their press conferences on playmakers. They talked about needing to add speed and all this speed, and I find that very interesting because most of the time in mocks, we are mock drafting offensive line to the Tennessee Titans. So is there a world where they could go with a playmaker at pick 7 and pass on the offensive line? It certainly seems possible. They have the best offensive line coach in the league in Bill Callahan, and he is someone who they feel can develop talent well, as they should. And with the depth in the draft on the offensive line, could they wait and go with a playmaker? That seems like a legitimate question. Now, there's going to be some talks about that being a smokescreen, and it's smokescreen season. I totally understand that. That's absolutely something that could be on the table. Maybe they just want that to be the case. Teams to feel like that's the direction that they're going to go, just for them to go right back and take an offensive tackle. Entirely possible. They could very well end up taking an offensive tackle at 7, and no one should bat an eye. But is there a path for them to go a different position? Yeah, there is. They can absolutely use another pass catcher and a weapon on that offense. Both Connor Rogers and Trevor Sikkema, they do a podcast together, and they are both, highly respected in the NFL draft world. Trevor Sikkema at the end of the show goes, I would put a weapon as a front runner for that spot. When they were discussing this topic, Connor brought up like, hey, I don't know. We all were so programmed to going, offensive line, either Joe Alt or Olu Fashanu to the Tennessee Titans. That feels like something that's going to happen here. And as I said a few times on this episode already, that very well could still happen. But Trevor's saying at the end, like, I don't know, man. I'm starting to get a vibe that they're going to go with a different position, that they could go with either a wide receiver or Brock Bowers, if you want to toss him in there as a potential option for them. So why am I talking about the Tennessee Titans? This is a New York Jets show. Well, the Tennessee Titans pick 3 picks before the New York Jets with pick 7. And if they don't go offensive line, that pushes more down the board to them. Now, I've done mocks where the only offensive linemen that go in the top 10 or top 9, because the Jets have pick 10, is Joe Alt, and that's at pick 7 to the Tennessee Titans. But if that's the direction that they don't go, right? Like if they go instead with Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze or someone like that, would that open up a path for Joe Alt potentially being there? I want to make this clear. The chances of Joe Alt making it to 10, I don't buy. And I would put at a very small % chance of happening. But how funny would it be if, fans, they cried because they won the last a couple games at the end of the year, dropped them down to 7, because they're going to miss out, or drop them to 7 wins and picking at pick 10. They're mad because, they're potentially losing out on Joe Alt, and that's why it was wrong to win those games. But what if he ends up making it to pick 10? What if you make it all the way to pick 10, Joe Alt? And Joe Alt being a New York Jet? That sounds like something I would be a big fan of. Please sign me up for that. Outside of the Tennessee Titans, I think the biggest threat in the top 10 to go on the offensive line would be, and specifically Joe Alt, the Chargers at 5 or the Giants at 6. Now, if I'm the Giants, I personally would take either a quarterback or a wide receiver. If Jaden Daniels makes it there, if they move up for Jaden Daniels, I would, if I was a Giants fan, that's the route I would want them to go. I'd want them to take Daniels so that Daniel Jones could eventually pass it over to him. But if not, I would look at a weapon. Those would be my 2 spots. Could they use help on the offensive line? Of course. But they've spent so many resources on this offensive line in the draft for them to go right back to it. Maybe they do, but I think they spend a tackle in free agency, and they have Andrew Thomas, free agent tackle, and they could sign a guard for cheap. So I think if I had to guess, very slim chance for the Giants. The Chargers one is the real threat. I've really enjoyed mocking Brock Bowers to the Chargers, but would anyone be surprised if Harbaugh went the Joe Alt route? Right? I wouldn't be. I could absolutely see him in that Chargers powder blue. I think that would be a great fit for them. And then you have two awesome tackles if that's the rate you the route you go with Slater and Alt. But maybe not. Maybe they do go wide receiver or Brock Bowers. And I would be scared of someone trying to trade up in front of the Jets to pick 9, and the Chicago Bears have that pick. So would the Bears move back and then ruin this dream and Joe Alt goes at pick 9? That's entirely possible. But if there's a world where we could figure out a way for the New York Jets to get Joe Alt in the NFL draft, that is a world that I want to be a part of. So I just thought it was interesting and worth a video to talk about, that everyone assumed Joe Alt is going to be gone within the first, little bit in the draft, and more likely than not, probably still will, but there's a chance. Before, there was no chance. Oh, there's no chance Joe Alt can make it there. There might be a chance. There might be a chance. And when there's a might, there's a way. Let me know your thoughts on Joe Alt making it all the way to pick 10 for the New York Jets. I think the chances are slim, but I want to hear from you. Do you think it's possible? Let me know. I am Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys next time.